Okay guys, Mark here. I've got the new eXp 7000. Super excited about this device. Here you see it's got the extenders on it. We're talking about 39.5 inches from end to end, and you've got 7 super sensors on a 6.5 inch center line. Now, to give you a feel for what that looks like, come in closer and we'll look at it. Your middle sensor is right here in the middle. You come over 18 centimeters, which is 6.5 inches roughly. There's your next super sensor. You come over to 36. Here's your next super sensor. And you come over to the end, and this is your last super sensor on this side. So you have 3 super sensors in this extender, 3 in this extender, and you've got the super sensor in the middle. That gives you a resolution of 6.5 inches. You're making one scan. You're covering 39.5 inches of space with 7 sensors. So the resolution on this is the best we've ever had. I know you guys have run 3D ground scans before, and if anybody has done one with less than 6.5 inches, you know it is tedious. You've got to really set your lines up straight, and you've got to be right on the money. With this new eXp 7000, you don't have to worry about that. It's already set up. You make one pass and that's worth 7. So the eXp 7000, one of the most exciting points for me is the fact that we've got these 7 super sensors. Now, we're going to take this and use it right now. We're in an area that was a former roadway to a castle that's behind me from medieval times. So we feel like we've got a few targets out here. We're going to do a small field just to give you a feel for how to use the eXp 7000 in the ground scan mode. And then we're going to walk you through all the different modes that the 7000 has. So here we go. We've got the eXp 7000 here. We're going to do a 3D ground scan, and I'm going to walk you through the process of how to do that. So you turn the control unit on by pressing this button. Here it's booted up. This is your power button if you want to shut it down. And I want to take a second to show you the different functions. So you've got the 3D ground scan. We've got the magnetometer. That works with all 7 sensors. We've got the live scan. This works with all 7 sensors. We have the mineral scan. One thing to note here is the mineral scan only uses the middle super sensor. So if you're going to be doing a lot of mineral scans, you don't need your sensor extenders. The same with the tunnel scan. We don't need the sensor extenders for the tunnel scan. And one way to actually check that is when you press tunnel scan, you see your extenders don't show up. To give you an example of when they do show up, we'll go over to the live scan, and you can see the extenders are animated here on the live scan screen. To start with, we come over here and we select 3D ground scan. Here you can select between zigzag and parallel. I always choose parallel. You can choose between automatic and manual mode. This is a fairly flat field, so we'll use automatic. Here, if you want to turn the sound off, you can. Here you can turn the lights, the LED lights off on the bottom of the probe. I like to leave those on. And here you press this button and the scan starts. So I'm going to go into the field, and we're going to run the 3D ground scan. Okay, so we've done our scan, and you're going to see something really interesting here. This is before we make the final save, but you can see there's definitely a target in the middle of the screen, or the middle of the scan field. So here we're setting our scan length and scan width, and there you can see there's a very strong signal right in the upper left quadrant of our scan. So we were successful in finding the target that was on the edge of our previous scan field. We found it. We've got really good margins. Now, to make sure that this is a target that's not moving, we're going to do another scan. So let's do that. Alrighty, let's take a look at this. So, this is prior to saving it. We save it, we put our dimensions in. 13, and voila. We have basically the same hit as we had last time. Target hasn't moved, it's the same strength. We've got a nice blue signature next to a nice red signature. That tells me whatever is in that area is magnetic, is ferrous metal. So one point that's interesting to do too is to look. You can see in the File Explorer, you have basically a thumbnail shot of all of your scans, and you can see these two scans here are nearly identical. When you have something like that, you know that there is a target in the ground in that spot of your scan field. So next, we're going to dig it up. All right, guys, so we found the target. It's right here. We're going to dig it up and see what we've got. Here we found what we were looking for. To me, it looks like some kind of a lever. You see it's got a curved edge here, comes to a point here. I'm not sure if that's a farm tool or it looks like it might have come from, definitely from something. This was probably attached there, and it was either a handle or something that you use to rotate. So yes, we found the target. It's something interesting, and to someone this may be a treasure, but we found it. And it was, good news is we found it, let's say it was about what, 8 inches deep, 10 inches deep. So not a super deep target, but definitely something, it's a target. And looking at the orientation, I mean, this is about 3/8 of an inch thick, maybe a little bit less than 3/8 of an inch thick, and it is about 8 inches long. And it was in the ground this way. It was parallel to our path of movement, and we were able to see it. So with 8 inches, it gives you a pretty long signature, but we were crossing it parallel to its path. So essentially, we just found something 3/8 of an inch thick with sensors that are based on a 6.5 inch center line. So that gives you a feel for, let's say, the scan width that each of these sensors have. So that puts it at about 3¼ inches for those sensors. So it's, let's say, on the radius of 6.5 inches diameter. So that's a really good find. Our work here is done.